So, welcome back to embryology sessions. Today's topic is pharyngeal arches and pouches. Okay, here is an embryology chart which is the skeletal derivatives of pharyngeal arches. So, what you are seeing here is the embryo 6 pharyngeal arches. So, initially there are 6 pharyngeal arches which gives rise to different skeletal components. And out of 6 pharyngeal arches, the fifth one completely disappears and disintegrates. So, at the end we have got only 5 pharyngeal arches. So, this is the first pharyngeal arch, second, third, fourth, and we know the fifth one disappears, and this is the sixth pharyngeal arch. So, each arch we can see the dotted line as the boundary, so which represents each arch. So, first pharyngeal arch derivatives are the mandible. We can see the developing mandible. So, the first pharyngeal arch is otherwise called as mandibular arch. We can also see malleus and incus. Spinosphenoid. So we can see this bony projection called as spinosphenoid, and from the malleus to the spinosphenoid, the ligament is anterior malleolar ligament. So anterior malleolar ligament, and from the spinosphenoid till this foramen, which is the mandibular canal, there is a sharp projection near the foramen called as the lingula, and this ligament which connects the lingula and the spinosphenoid is sphenomandibular ligament. So these are the derivatives which we can see here in this image. Apart from this, maxilla and the zygomatic bone are also derived from the first pharyngeal arch, that is the mandibular arch. And the cartilage of this arch is the Meckel's cartilage. And let's see the derivatives of second pharyngeal arch. We can see the stapes posteriorly. Stapes, malleus, incus are the 3 ear ossicles. Here is the styloid process. And we can see the development of upper part of the body of hyoid. And the small projection is the lesser cornu. Lesser cornu of the hyoid. So as we see the development of hyoid bone in the second arch is otherwise called as hyoid arch, and the cartilage of second arch is Richard's cartilage. And the third arch, there is no specific name from third arch onwards, and lower part of the body of the hyoid and greater cornu of the hyoid bone are derived from the second arch. So lower part of the hyoid, and this is the greater cornu. And from fourth and sixth arches, we see the developing laryngeal cartilages. Fourth arch gives rise to thyroid cartilage. And sixth arch derives to form cricoid cartilage. So these are the skeletal elements which are derived from each pharyngeal arches. So these skeletal elements are made up of mesoderm. So if you see the pharyngeal arch, internally it is lined by the endoderm and externally it is lined by the ectoderm, and intervening part is the mesoderm. So the mesoderm gives rise to the skeletal component, muscular component, and there are blood vessels and nerves for each arch. So the mesoderm gives rise to the skeletal components, and six arches are present initially, and we know that fifth arch disappears completely, leaving only 5 arches. And first arch cartilage is the Meckel's cartilage, and the derivatives are incus malleus, anterior ligament of malleus, sphenomandibular ligament, and also the cartilaginous part of mandible, maxilla, and zygomatic arch are all derived from the first pharyngeal arch. Second arch cartilage is the Richards cartilage, which gives rise to hyoid bone, that is the upper part of the hyoid and lesser cornu of the hyoid bone. We shall do a quick revision of each arch. The first arch we know incus, malleus, mandible, and anterior ligament of malleus, sphenomandibular ligaments are derived from the first arch, and others are maxillae and zygomatic bones are also derived from the first arch. Second arch gives rise to stapes, styloid process, stylohyoid ligament, lesser cornu or the smaller cornu, and upper part or the superior part of the body of hyoid. And third arch gives rise to greater cornu and inferior part of the body of hyoid. And fourth and sixth arch derives to form cartilages of larynx. To be specific, the third arch gives rise to thyroid cartilage and the sixth arch gives rise to cricoid cartilage. So that was all about the skeletal derivatives of pharyngeal arches. Next, here is a chart which shows the pouches and clefts. So here is the pharyngeal apparatus where we can see the mesoderm, which is mesoderm derives to form pharyngeal arches, and internally the mesoderm is lined by the endoderm. So because of this endodermal lining, these are called endodermal pouches. And we can see externally the mesoderm is lined by the ectoderm. And these are the ectodermal clefts. So these are the ectodermal clefts. And in between the endoderm and the ectoderm are the pharyngeal arches. And we can also appreciate cervical sinus, which is the gap between the second arch. The second arch overrides the rest of the ectodermal clefts, which forms the cervical sinus, which is a temporary sinus which gets obliterated before birth. And we can also see the other structures like floor of pharyngeal apparatus, where we see the lingual swellings. And we can see the tuberculum impar, and we can also appreciate tracheoesophageal groove. And here is the foramen cecum, and the dotted line represents the thyroglossal duct which forms the thyroid gland, thyroid diverticulum. So this is the thyroid diverticulum. So these are the things which we can appreciate. So now the present topic is on the derivatives of pharyngeal pouches and clefts. So each pouch, if you see closely, especially the third pouch, it divides into dorsal and ventral wing. So this is the dorsal wing and this is the ventral wing. So each pouch initially has got dorsal wing and ventral wing. The dorsal and ventral wing of the first pouch and dorsal wing of the second pouch, all of them joins to form tubotympanic recess. And now the only ventral wing of second pouch is remaining with the second pouch. So the ventral wing derives to form palatine tonsil. And dorsal wing of the third pouch forms the inferior parathyroid gland. And the ventral wing of the third pouch forms the thymus. And dorsal wing of the fourth pouch forms the superior parathyroid gland. Whereas the ventral wing of the fourth pouch and dorsal and ventral wings of the sixth pouch all together they form ultimobranchial body or caudal pharyngeal complex. So all these together form caudal pharyngeal complex. So these are the derivatives of endodermal pouches, and ectoderm, if we observe the first cleft, this is the first cleft which approximates with the pouch, that is the tubotympanic recess, and this forms the external ear. And the mesoderm, which is intervening between the pouch and the cleft, here it gets thinned out to form a membrane. So all three together they form a membrane called as tympanic membrane. So this part later forms tympanic membrane. So that is about the first cleft. And the second arch, we see it is overriding and growing downwards and obliterating the rest of the clefts, which are the temporary structures. So pharyngeal apparatus, the clefts are lined by the ectoderm and pouches are lined by the endoderm and arches are derived from the mesoderm. And fate of each cleft, first cleft will form the external ear, that is external acoustic meatus, and second, third, fourth opens into cervical sinus. Cervical sinus is a gap between the overriding second arch and rest of the clefts, and this cervical sinus disappears, forming a skin of neck. So fate of each pharyngeal pouch, the first pouch, that is the dorsal wing, ventral wing of the first pouch and dorsal wing of the second pouch, altogether it forms tubotympanic recess, which forms the auditory tube and middle ear in adults. And second wing, ventral wing, forms the palatine tonsil. Dorsal wing forms the tubotympanic recess. Whereas the third wing, dorsal wing, will form inferior parathyroid and ventral wing derives to form thymus. And fourth pouch, the dorsal wing will form superior parathyroid. Ventral wing of the fourth, dorsal and ventral wing of the fifth. We know the rest of the pouches all together forms ultimobranchial body or caudal pharyngeal complex, which later derives to form parafollicular cells of thyroid gland. So these are the derivatives of pharyngeal pouches and clefts, ectodermal clefts. I hope this topic would be useful for you all. Thank you.